Hey everyone, Brian Balon here, your local Phoenix realtor, and today I'm going to take you through a virtual tour of a community in North Phoenix called Moon Valley. It's a place that I grew up in, so I'm going to give you some local insights into what it's like to live here, so stay tuned. All right, here we are. We are now in the Moon Valley area. This is Coral Gables Drive, and it's kind of like the main street that you can go through to get through Moon Valley. But before we kind of get on Coral Gables Drive, I'm going to take you on Moon Valley Drive, which is like, you know, the more locally famous road. If you live off of Moon Valley Drive, it's sort of a novelty. Of course, you're you're in Moon Valley, but it's a novelty for sure. So as you drive, you just get a good feel. I mean, it's a really quiet neighborhood. There's mountain ranges, fairly nice homes as well. You're going to see homes here that are around, I think starting at this point in mid-2020, you're going to see homes that are in like the high threes to the sevens. Actually 700,000. And a lot of the appeal for these homes are the area, right? Location is one huge point. It's a nice place to be. Number two is that you are on a golf course lot, possibly, and that's kind of where a lot of the homes here are kind of against, in a sense. You're going to see a lot of homes that have a beautiful backyard. So this is Moon Valley Drive. So the main thing about Moon Valley is the country club, Moon Valley Country Club. And this is a country club here that sort of is in the heart of Moon Valley. And this country club has plenty of amenities. You don't actually need to be a resident of Moon Valley in order to be a member. And they have actually bounced back from being private to semi-private. And I believe right now they are semi-private. What that means is that you can play their golf course. Their golf course used to be private, semi-private now, which means you can not be a member and hop on with someone and play their course. But I mean, this has plenty of amenities. You know, there's a swimming pool, there's tennis courts, as you can see. There's a driving range. They have a short course, right, an executive course that's about a full 18 holes. But yeah, I mean, I think the longest hole on that course is like 150 yards. So you can practice your short irons and your short game. And then they also have a regular size course, which I think is now above 7,000 yards. And that course actually used to be host to LPGA tournaments. Actually, particularly one tournament every year. And they stopped that probably about 10 years ago or so now. They don't have that tournament, but the course is beautiful with mountain views, well maintained. It's just really a great experience. Very challenging too, if you like challenge. They have restaurants in there, of course, and they are racquetball. Actually, they took the racquetball courts out, but banquet halls and meeting rooms, all that kind of stuff. So you can check that out. I think the sports membership, if you get a sports membership, meaning you can use their driving range, and then like anything sports related, right? They have a workout room. They have, of course, the tennis courts. You can play the short course unlimited. There's not even anyone attending. You just kind of hop on and go. And then, yeah, like I said, the driving range. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Yeah, pretty much the pool, right? You can use all that stuff. It's sauna for, I think it's $500 a month. And then there's an initial fee that you need to pay in order to secure your membership. So yeah, so there's that. But they also have like the golf course membership where you can play unlimited on the golf course. And that one, of course, is a little bit more. So we're going to continue on Moon Valley Drive. As you can see, I mean, it's an old community. This is a community that is started around the 60s. It was developed in the 60s. Houses were beginning to be built. Sometimes, like today, right, you'll see, as you can see up ahead, you'll see the houses are somewhat updated. That one was purchased last year, and it was actually an estate sale. Someone had passed away and they were selling it, and they listed it at $550 and nobody would buy it. I have clients that put in an offer for $500 and they didn't take it, and then another 6 months later they decided, well, we'll just sell it. So they did, but they dumped it for $430. So then whoever bought it was an investor. I think he was in mortgages. He bought it, completely remodeled it, and then he lived in it. So that's the story with that one. But as you can see, you'll see some houses that are from like the 70s, 60s, and then you'll see some that are completely overhauled and have been remodeled to modern day standards. So yeah, it's definitely a nice mixture of like history, Arizona history, but also modernization. Eventually, I think with enough time, these homes are going to get to being all updated. But you can see it's a very nice place to be, very serene. Arizona, but green, right? A little bit more green than what you're normally used to seeing out there in the desert, because we are in the desert. But yeah, house prices are around high threes is what they start at, and that's really for like an old home, right? You're looking at like the 60s or 70s build and original, or some upgrades, but I mean pretty original, like 2,000 to 2,300 square feet would be your high threes starting, and then you can have houses here that are in the 7s and 8s. So there's definitely a wide range, but yeah, I mean, this place back in the day was an exclusive place to live. It was the hot spot to be, and it still is actually. It's very much a desirable place to be, and it's very communal. They have different events throughout the year. They have different communities here that get together and do certain activities, like food truck events or times in the park, like events at the park and things like that. And yeah, and of course, people with kids here, they go to the schools locally. So yeah, there's definitely been a community developed here. And what's also a neat fact is a lot of the people that live here have lived here for years, and then their kids end up moving into Moon Valley and then raising their kids just like where they grew up. So it's now generational is what we're seeing. A lot of people that I've talked to in this neighborhood, they say that they're gonna stay, like they want to stay in their houses. It's their forever home. So I have no intention of moving. It's their place to be, and for good reason. I mean, again, it's a nice place to be. It's a nice place to live in. So kind of a hidden gem actually, because you think of North Phoenix, you think that's a decently good area. The house prices are a bit higher than the average, or even closer to average or above. But this one here is a very special place. It's a hidden gem, and locals really know about it, but it's not really broadcasted or advertised as much out there in the general communities. You'll see a lot of new build communities out there, and you'll hear about them, but this one's just sort of the locals know about it. So you guys are in for a treat, because I'm showing you what it's like to be out here. So that was Moon Valley Drive, and now we're going to go on Coral Gables, and you get an idea of appreciating what it's like here. To my left, as you just saw with me making that right turn, is Coral Gables Estates. So Coral Gables Estates is basically where you find the $1 million homes, right? It's on the mountain with you have the views of the city. Luxury homes are up there. It is a gated community with a guard that's present, that's guarding the traffic, if you will, or managing the traffic that goes in and out. So you do have to have a contact and the permission from the homeowners in order to get into the community. So yeah, I mean, that place actually is pretty nice place, but think older. It's not really as modern, although some houses there are newer, I guess you should say. But you're looking at like 90s builds, 80s builds. They actually are selling land up there, but it does need to be graded. So land up there, I think, is around, from what I was checking, is between like 250 to like 500, really, just for the land. And then utilities, of course, as long as you have a neighbor that's hooked up to utilities, which they usually are, you'll be able to get you'll be able to build your land up there, your house. So this here even is a really nice drive, and as I was taking you through Moon Valley Drive, what they do in winter time is they have luminaries, which is just an annual tradition they have on Christmas Eve, actually, and then they leave it up on Christmas Day. And it's just a neat time where actually a lot of families will come out and they'll drive around, just looking at the luminaries, looking at the Christmas lights. And there are some neighbors out here that are really into the Christmas lights. So you really get a show, actually, and it turns into a community event, which is pretty neat. Had some clients that were looking at a house here. It was selling for around $680, I think it was listed at $680, and I asked the agent about putting an offer for $640-ish, and they thought that was pretty good. The house was like 2,800 square feet, pool, and it had the golf course backyard views. Yeah, I was going for around mid-sixes. So yeah, usually if it has a golf course backyard, then yeah, you're looking at least 5, but really 6 to 7s is what you can expect there. HOA, there's actually no HOA. Well, there is an HOA, but it's voluntary. So it's not a traditional HOA where they have, they're mandatory annual payments or monthly payments. It is something mandatory. You can join it if you want. You can pay into it. What they do is they sort of do the functions of an HOA, but really just make sure the community is being maintained and stabilized, in a sense of nobody's doing stuff that's too crazy, right? And they do have some powers, if you will, like an HOA, but not full. They just really want to keep the neighborhood continuing to develop and appreciating in value, which is kind of neat. And then they also pay, or you have an optional payment of $90 annually if you want to pay for the neighborhood patrol. They have a security guard that they've hired to just patrol the area. It's just an added measure of safety. It's not a gated community. Moon Valley itself isn't, but yeah, I mean, they have that additional security there and trying to keep things regulated. So I'm taking you right now into the park, Moon Valley Park, and Moon Valley Park is actually, so right now it's May 2020, and they've closed it, but it has basketball courts, it's got playgrounds, massive grass area where you can have sports games. I know sometimes the local schools will play, or local clubs, if you will, for kids. They'll play like soccer or football or things like that. They do also have volleyball courts and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, definitely a cool place to enjoy and have a good time. But yeah, so yeah, that's just how it is. Oh man. So you got a guy patrolling in the shade. So yep, that's Moon Valley Park. Not gonna get down, but need to make a correction. There are no volleyball courts here, but there are definitely, the rest of the stuff I was mentioning is definitely there. So now we're leaving Moon Valley Park. Yep. There are places of worship here that are really local. And in Moon Valley, you have, or at least on Coral Gables Drive, you have two main places of worship. You know, they're faith-based organizations that you can frequent. And then there also is a community in at least one of them I used to be part of. They have their different programs and things like that. So yeah, very accessible and communal if you choose to engage with it as well. One of the elementary schools here is called Lookout Mountain Elementary. It's K through 6, and the reason why it's only till 6th is because they have a middle school out here called Mountain Sky Junior High, so for 7th and 8th. And then the high school is Thunderbird High School. You can check that out. Sure, I almost went to Thunderbird myself, but I went to a private school, so it's a bit different outcome, if you will. But yeah, I mean, I had friends that went to Thunderbird, overall had a good experience, and are now off to doing some cool things. So you get a good feel of what the community is like. I mean, it's pretty quiet. I know people kind of keep to themselves, but that engage in the community when those events are available. And so, yeah, I mean, it's a nice place to live if, you know, you like hidden gems and neat little options. I mean, you can be part of the country club. There's hiking close by. Of course, not very challenging, but still popular. And it's kind of neat if you're minutes away, even sometimes walking distance from mountain ranges or hiking, which is cool. And parks there and all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to take you to the other side of 7th Street. So west of 7th Street on Coral Gables Drive, you're going to find Moon Valley area. And actually just here to my left is some convenience stores. You got some restaurants, some little just different stores that you could have, like alterations or shoe repair, that kind of stuff. There's a gym in there as well that you can go to. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff that you have access to very close to here, so it's pretty neat. So we're going up the mountain. What you're going to find in this community is homes that are closer to around, you can find them for around 3s, like high 3s, and then they go as high as $1 million plus. Like, I think you can find homes around this area for about 1 million to 1.1, and I'll show you why in a minute. But you'll see here, this right here is like 400,000. A couple houses that have sold in this area have sold around low 4s about 2 years ago. Now, you know, with all the appreciation we've experienced in real estate in Phoenix market, it's going to be closer to around probably mid 4s now. But yeah, it's a very nice community as well. Not gated, no HOA, which is no HOA at all, not even an optional HOA or a voluntary HOA. And yeah, it's relatively quiet and a nice place to be. But as we've now just passed 11th Street, we're gonna see a lot more luxury homes, and it's kind of interesting how it changes that quickly. But yeah, in Phoenix area, 750,000 or 700,000 is around the price point where you'll start to see the luxury market. This here is a trailhead for Lookout Mountain, and it takes you real close, probably like, I'd say, 5 minutes or so before you get to the top. So that's kind of cool. But yeah, there's plenty of, there's different trails. You can recreationally just hang out and have a good hike. And then you can also walk the neighborhood, which is pretty pleasant as well, as I'm sort of driving here and kind of exploring. I had a friend tell me, it's kind of like a local tip. I had a friend tell me once that if you are in a community with a sidewalk, then it's like your average price point home. But if you don't have sidewalks, then it's a nicer neighborhood. And in this case, it's like half of the road has sidewalks, and then the other half doesn't. So just an interesting little thought there. Oh, they're building the house there. That's cool. That's a new house. That's neat. So yeah, there is land available here, but really patchy. I mean, you're looking at only a few parcels left, and a lot of them aren't for sale. But if you're local, you could actually, some of us actually, or some of the neighbors will actually know the owner of the parcel, and you can just ask them. Which is, actually, that's kind of neat. I do have a client who bought some land in this area, and the way that we were able to get that property is because we had connections, in a sense. Like, the clients knew mutual friends. We had mutual friends between the seller, and yeah, basically was able to get the property. And apparently there was a bunch of people that had been trying to buy it for quite some time, and he finally sold it to my client. So it was really cool. But yeah, I mean, that's the advantage of being local, right? And having those connections. Also a unique way to do real estate. I mean, if a lot of investors attempted and they wouldn't sell it, then it's an advantage to doing business with someone you trust, and also being local, I guess. I'm about to take you to just another area here, and this is it's still Moon Valley area, I guess you could say. We're still near Lookout Mountain, but one thing I definitely want to point out is there's another golf course here. I guess you could call this another hidden gem. It's sort of it's like still mountainous. You're gonna have views of the city, and there's some night luxury homes out here, and there's also single family homes you can find in the 3s up to the 6s. And then when you start to get custom, which there are some custom homes here, you'll start to see 1 million to 1.3 or 4. I think is what I've seen out here when I've looked and done some neighborhood research. So yeah, so there's that. And it's Point Golf Club Drive. You basically this is kind of like the shortcut through to 2 major streets, but takes you through the neighborhood as a kind of like the highway, if you will, for getting to your property, your residence. So kind of a neat little place too. Yeah, they also have a golf course here, and this one's a more challenging golf course. If you're into golf, it's built on a mountain, so you can only imagine the elevation change, and the narrowness of the course. Lots of out of bounds places. So yeah, but very challenging, but very, very nice course to be in, and very enjoyable views. That was what makes it popular. Taking you through some more neighborhoods. You get a feel. These homes are in the 4s to 5s. A little bit about the homes out here. So you're looking at single family homes. This area has an HOA, and yeah, these homes are going to range from like 1,800 square foot, one-story homes, to as much as like 3,600 if they're like the non-custom or semi-custom homes. Like these will pretty much be like 3,600 at most square feet. And yeah, I mean, you get a decent sized lot. They're not really built on top of each other as you might think, but also, or as you might expect, because of the new builds that you see today. But yeah, 90s builds, late 80s, early 90s is when this community came to be. So you're looking at like 30-year-old homes. And yeah, you know, they're not really at that point where they need a massive overhaul yet. But like right now, massive overhaul homes, you're finding like 60s and 70s homes. Early 80s are like getting there. So you're probably about another decade or two off from needing the overhaul and like massive repair, like to electrical and plumbing basically. But yeah, I mean, look at them even today, even their 90s homes, they're still very modern, still very appealing. And yeah, it's another nice community to be in. Still in the Moon Valley area, North Phoenix, right? This is all North Phoenix stuff in this area. And some of it is gated, right? This is a location they're saying you need a remote to leave, right? So I don't have a remote. I don't live here. But I will back up and take you to some more. So what's my overall opinion of this place? You know, so I grew up here, right? I grew up in this area. It's a nice area to be in terms of overall safety. You know, as a kid, I was able to, you know, it's not like crazy. You know, I was able to play in the front of the house, and you know, I was younger, didn't get too involved with the community, but there was definitely a community when I remember growing up, and of course people are moving in and out all the time, but generally though there are people that are upholding community events and staying together. And of course, if you guys haven't already heard about the Nextdoor app, nextdoor.com, I mean, there's a way you can meet a lot of your neighbors. Although my experience on Nextdoor, it's been interesting to see the posts of different residents, and it can kind of be a lot of drama sometimes. But overall, you know, there's people that are, you know, asking questions and, hey, I'm moving here, or I'm new to the community, that kind of stuff. So it still builds upon some level of connection between neighbors. So yep, this is pretty much what you can expect out here. Once again, I think what's also unique about this community is the mountain views, which is kind of neat too. As you're driving, you can enjoy. Kind of fun. And here's a nice view right here of the mountains. So yeah, I mean, if you're going for a walk, it's kind of neat to walk in your neighborhood and see mountain views like that, and enjoy where you live. Once again, here's another view there. Very cool, very cool. So living here, it's a nice place to be, right? Very comfortable, very nice. The feeling you get here, of course, is it's not a cookie cutter kind of place to be. I mean, some of the houses do look, right, the spec homes are they look similar, but you have a mixture of those kind of homes in addition to the custom homes. So it's a nice break in, for the eyes, and also, yeah, you can enjoy the difference in scenery and feeling like you're in a luxury area, like, right, you live in a luxury area, even though you may not be in a luxury home, which is okay. And also, if you notice, there's not a lot of for sale signs out there, so people aren't trying to leave here very often. And most of the time when people sell, when I've contacted the listing agent, and they've disclosed it, it's because they had to, or it was time, in a sense. So like they're moving to a different place or downsizing, right? So but it's not because the area is terrible and they don't like their experience here. So that's a good sign for those looking to move into Moon Valley area. So I'm going to take you, we're now heading on 7th Street. So we're now on 7th Street, and this is one of those major roads that is within the Moon Valley area. See some to the right are some commercial developments, businesses. But I'm going to take you to what's nearby, so you have an idea of the proximity to shopping and things like that. So if you take where we are right now, it's really close, actually. It's really with only like 3-minute drive, maybe 2-minute drive. I mean, it's like less. It's about a mile away from where Moon Valley is. So at most, really, with a few stoplights, like 5-minute drive at most. If you're at the back end, I guess, near Thunderbird of Moon Valley, probably take you, that much time to get to some local supermarkets and restaurants, things like that. So, yeah. Another place of worship we just passed. So that's another option for you. Fire station to my left. And you have apartment complexes. So, I mean, that one's a very massive apartment complex, actually. I think it's several hundred units. And I even may have seen once that it was a 1,000-unit complex. So, yeah, I mean, there are also in the Moon Valley area are apartments as well. If you still want to live in the area, you have that option. So I've only been driving for like a few minutes, and I'm now arriving at where some of the local amenities are. So there's a major gym here, and like memberships right now, I think around $40 a month to this gym. It's a pretty big gym, and lots of people, pretty busy mostly. So it's a big gym here. As you can see, there's some more different local shops, things like that. And yeah. Okay. Gym. And you know what? Actually, my experience here is it's not really busy. mean, the gym can get busy, especially when things were normal, you know, before the stay-at-home orders and stuff. But yeah, right now, not as busy. And if you don't go in the prime hours, then you can pretty much get in and out of the store that you want to go to with not a very long wait. But if you're going through prime hours, I mean, yeah, you're waiting sometimes 10 minutes. I've experienced that, 10-minute wait. So, yeah. Here's what it looks like at 3:31 on a Wednesday at a Target. This is another major spot to be at. So yeah, you can see it's not really, I mean, it's busy, but not like crowded busy. So that's kind of nice. You got a lot of major local restaurants, chain restaurants that are here. So, you know, for those of you that like Panera's out here, Chipotle, Five Guys, Wendy's, right? All those big places. So, yep. So, yeah. Day. Gas stations are pretty local, of course. There's one gas station right off the corner of Coral Gables and 7th Street. You got banks. You got basically most of what you need here within the vicinity of the Moon Valley area. A lot of times people talk about the traffic here, and yeah, it's pretty crazy, but it's not as unreasonable as it could sound on forums, but in people's experience. But yeah, I mean, are you gonna have very frequent stories of ridiculous things that happen? Yeah, traffic is like that. And my theory on that is a lot of the people that live here are not actually Phoenix natives. I mean, they're basically from anywhere and everywhere. So you're getting a bunch of different styles of driving all into one spot. So pretty much nobody's really on the same page. And yeah, there are certain moves that people make. It's just like, wow, that's crazy that you're doing that. But I mean, generally though, aside from that, it's pretty manageable. All right, everyone, thanks so much for watching. If you have any questions about anything in this community, just feel free to reach out. I can give you a local's experience on it. And yeah, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And thank you guys so much for watching. We will catch you next video.